It's time to work on the Mark II. I've been working on this trunk since last night. I didn't really record an intro or anything just because I just wanted to hop straight into it. I did a little bit of a boo-boo when I was buffing the trunk the other night, and it made it so I had to do something completely crazy on it in order to fix the mistake. So let me show you the mistake first. Alright, so here's the issue. Burned through with the buffer, went ahead and fixed it. Now I'm getting ready to spray my whole trunk. Yeah. It'd be harder to match the red to the rest of the car than it would be to just tape out some crazy design and then turn the mistake into a happy accident like the great Bob Ross said. That's what we do around here, right? You make a mistake, it's an opportunity to make it better, right? So I went ahead and drew up a little design and I went ahead and taped it up on my trunk. And now I'm waiting for the rain to stop so I can spray some silver base coat and then some flake over it. So as soon as I can take the next step in the process, I'll keep you updated. However, you guys gotta see this because I know you saw this in one of the previous videos. It might have even been last video. However, when I went to go pick up some wheels, you guys know that I found a cat. And this cat has been with me since. And right now the cat's with me up at the shop, taking a little nap. What's up, Peeper? Say hi to the people. So this is Peep. This is the kitten that we found when we were picking up the tri-spokes a couple weeks ago. And she's my buddy. She's a great little cat. She's full of energy and she's very fun. She's great. Look at that. She's got a kitty condo. Here's a quick little time lapse that I put together for social media of me taping up and getting the trunk ready to get the design laid out on it. So I went ahead and just designed something on a piece of paper, and then I started grabbing random things from around my shop to create stencils around with the tape, including a VSKF wheel, my carving head wheel cap, a paint can, and several other things. After I got the design all laid down, I went ahead and masked it all off, got some silver base coat thrown on it. Then I grabbed my shadow primer gun by Luma 3 and I put on the 2.0 tip and sprayed flake through it. That allowed me to go ahead and get a nice base on this that I could tape over and start airbrushing and adding more designs to. Once I got it clear coated, I was able to start adding those designs and conceptualizing how I want to build this design to completion through 3D stacking of different vinyls, stencils, and airbrushing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the process, and in due time you'll see me finish this up. I do apologize for not shooting this in a higher quality long form content style for you guys. It's kind of difficult, but no excuses. I'll do my best on the next parts to go ahead and set up a GoPro so I can make sure that you guys can see this in a pleasant way set up for long form media. But that's how it's looking so far, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready to move on to my AN fuel lines and brake lines that I'm making for this car because we're getting everything we can done. So one of the last things I need to take care of on this car is the fuel system. I do still have to get it running and all that, but it can't run if it doesn't have a properly functioning gas tank. So I have a rusty gas tank from a Cressida that I've already done one rush treatment on, and now I need to do a second rush treatment. So I went to Walmart and I grabbed 4 bottles of hydrochloric acid activated toilet bowl cleaner. And I'm going to be filling the gas tank with it, filling it with water, allowing the rust to disintegrate, and I'll be putting gas in it and then sealing it shut with all new gaskets. Here's the gas tank in question with a bunch of things stacked up on it. And there's the new gaskets, so let's get this pulled out. After the last rush treatment, it's not looking too bad inside, but it's also been a couple weeks since I did it. So getting this refreshed one going will help clean up the rest of what's inside. As you can see, it actually looks pretty good, but since this is a brand new engine and it's a restoration, I'm not gonna run pretty all right. I'm gonna go a little bit farther and see if I can get it more rust free. So generally my rule of thumb is that I buy 2 bottles of toilet bowl cleaner. They come in a 2-pack. The active ingredient is only, let me see. The active ingredient, hydrochlorate, is 2.4% of this. So it's extremely diluted. So generally 2 for like overnight is more than enough to get it nice and clean, but I'm going to do 4 and hopefully that makes it happen quicker because I have a more concentrated solution. So let's get these dumped in, let's get the water put in. Alright, so I got the whole gas tank filled up with some water, and now I'm just going to go ahead and let it sit here. While this is sitting here, I'm going to go ahead and push forward the JZX, and I'm going to get it up on jack stands. While it's up on jack stands, I can go ahead and I can adjust the suspension on all four sides. I can take off the back wheels and kind of just get it ready for the last stages of getting assembled. Alright, so I got this pretty clean. You guys should have seen it before. There was a lot of rust in here, and now there's a whole lot of no rust. Let's check another hole. Let's try to put the flashlight in here. There we go. Yeah, so as you guys can see, it's not perfect, but it's definitely manageable. Like, this is completely fine. I broke away anything loose that was there with the two treatments, and I was able to flush it all out with a pressure washer, which also helps break things down. And yeah, it seems like it's pretty clean. So I'm gonna get the rest of the water out of this, and then I'm gonna pour some gas in it so it doesn't flash rust. And then while the gas is inside it, I'm gonna go ahead and seal on the sending unit, the fuel neck, and the fuel float. And then yeah, we'll go ahead and put it in the car.
I was getting to the net and I knocked my pedal into the fire and I jumped down and grabbed it, but the damage was done. Now it's got a little hole in it. I've got a little stuff stack.
This should help prevent flash rusting. Let me pause the outdoor boys, hold on. This should help with flash rusting. As soon as I get everything sealed on here, I'll go ahead and slosh the tank around and try to get the gas to touch everything in there. Alright, so I got the gas tank put in. It's right up here, and I'm going to attach the rest of the fuel lines to the gas tank, and then that'll be good to go. I'm also going to bring the items up here that I need to open the gas flap and get the gas filler neck mounted properly, because there's like an inner ring and an outer ring, etc., etc. So I want to get that all put in so I just don't have to worry about it anymore. And then from the fuel lines, the hard lines that are at the tank, I'm going to go to the front of the car and start hooking up all that stuff too, because I got an Evil Energy fuel line kit and I need to get that installed. And I also got my fuel filter and all my AN fittings to make everything work together, so we'll be handling that next. I got a package from the Amazon. It's crazy that they're able to overnight stuff from the Amazon to the United States. That's just crazy, isn't it? Anyways, I think it's the fuel lines for my Mark II. Alright, so here's what I got in my Amazon box. We got 1/4-inch fuel line. And then we've got, this is split wire loom, so I can wrap up the harness underneath this fender. I also got harness tape, which is right here. So here I've got all of the components to assemble the fuel system on the car. So let's go ahead and start getting this fitted together after I show you guys what I got here. This is a 6AN, what is it? This is a 6AN 20-foot Evil Energy kit. Here I've got an MK3 Supra fuel filter. This is a, I think, 50 millimeter fuel filter clamp. This is 55 or 56 millimeter. So I should be able to take the rubber out of this and fit it in there just fine. I had to get a couple extra fittings to fit the fuel filter and the fuel rail. And I also went ahead and I ordered some fuel line with some brand new zinc fuel line clips. So let's go ahead and get this all assembled and get it into the car. And that'll be one more thing crossed off the list. I also went ahead and got a fuel filter, got all the adapters to make that fit the 6AN lines, and then I had to order in a special bit, which was extra difficult to get, and when they delivered it to the wrong person, because that's what Amazon does around here. But this is what I can put on my 2JZ fuel rail, so I can convert it to 6AN, so I can have the full fuel loop system complete. So as you can see here, I'm installing on the fuel feed line that I can go ahead and put a barb fitting to a 6AN fitting onto, so I can attach that to my fuel filter. Then I'm running from the return line another soft fuel line with another barb fitting that I can then attach to the 6AN fuel system. I swear this is the part about working on cars that people don't talk about. You follow all the instructions, you buy all the parts from all the links, alright? You put it all together exactly the way they say to, right? You ready? Bonk. Bonk. So, I have some research to do.
Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I'm making custom brake lines for the Mark II. So I got two different Harbor Freight brake line benders right here. I got a Harbor Freight brake flaring toolkit. And I'm going to go ahead and make some brake lines to match up with my Wilwood proportioning valve so we can move on to something else in this build. This fixes the problem of not having the OEM right-hand drive proportioning valve, but also upgrades the brake bias system so I can adjust it how I want it. Let's get to it. So I know this time lapse is a little fast-paced. Honestly, I need to adjust my GoPro settings to make it more viewer-friendly because watching this is a bit chaotic. So I tried to make sure to only show you guys a little bit of that process because all you're seeing me really do is bend the brake line that goes up and over the entire engine to the other side where it can then connect to a fitting that goes to the front brake line. Well, I also had to make a second version of that line so I could run it over to match up with the fitting that goes to the back brake lines. And that was a very difficult process because not only did I have to make it the same shape as the other one, I had to make all the bends at a slightly shorter radius so I could make sure that one line sat inside of the other line and then they fit across the engine bay in a way where they're not interfering with each other, which is a little bit more difficult than you would think. But now that I've shown you the entire time lapse of the process, I'm just going to go ahead and show you live view what it all looks like in the car because you can't really see it there, it's moving too fast, and we can slow it all down and show you what it's like now that everything's installed with fittings on the brake master cylinder and is pretty much ready for brake fluid. We're going to use my Luma 3 paint light because it's hands down like the best flashlight I have. So down here in the engine bay we have my Wilwood proportioning valve, and you can see the two hard lines that I bent from the top of it to my brake master cylinder. And then you can see the two brake lines that come out of the bottom that track up behind my master cylinder and then up along the firewall, down behind the intake, and over. You can see where they land down behind the fuel filter right there. You see the little zinc fitting for the both of them? I tried to put the same bend in both of them so one lines up over top of the other one, and then one runs to the front brake line, which is right down here, and then the other one runs to the back like I was explaining earlier. So that was a very intricate process. Honestly, some of the bends that I put in there were difficult to determine, what should go where and how. So let me show you what I mean. So behind the master cylinder here, you can see this hump right here. So I had to bend the lines at that hump to make sure that they fit up against the firewall right here. That's just one of those little intricate things you have to do. And if you bend it too much, then it's going to mess up the entire thing. I was able to modify the throttle body bracket. This outer one here is the one that actually sets cruise control, and the inner one is where your throttle cable goes. So I was able to trim the bracket off the back of it and stick a washer on there, and now it clears. Barely, but it clears. So problem solved on that. So with the fuel lines and the brake lines done, I'm going to start assembling the other two 3-piece wheels to finish the full set on this JZX81. I just got two 3.5-inch 40-hole work lips from VR Wheels, and that's all I needed in order to start assembling that last set of wheels. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some barrels down. I'm also going to be applying some Alumabrite to all of my aluminum intake pieces and seeing if I can get it to shine again. So all I got to do is dilute it, put it in a spray bottle, spray it all, and then pressure wash it, and it should look a lot better. So we'll see how that goes as well. So let's get to it. Did you guys see that? The Alumabrite stripped this inner barrel like nobody's business. It looks brand new. Alright, so the dumbest thing happened. Old me was not looking out for new me when I did this because I definitely knew that I was setting myself up for some sort of issue down the road. Either way, all that hardware that I just cleaned for the wheel, well, turns out that that's actually hardware for my serbs. And for whatever reason, I thought it would be a good idea to put the hardware from the carving head, one wheel, on the two rear serbs that are on the back of my 240. So now I'm in the process of swapping out all the hardware in a way that won't make it unsafe. So like, the serbs are split up 5 spokes, so you got 3, sets of hardware going all around it, and then it's got bolts from the back. So none of the bolts from the back are getting touched. But I'm starting with the center ones, took out all the center ones, I think it's 4, and now I'm going to put in this one, then I'm going to move to the one to the left of the center one, whatever. Jesus. Let's take this and get it all refreshed like the other wheel. Alright, so now that the wheel looks beautiful, let's take it inside and take it apart and assemble the second wheel. So we got one wheel right here, keyring. We got another one sitting up here on the front of the car. I just got done watching the Bills lose to the Eagles. Big L. That's okay, it was a good game. It was raining, whatever. So we're working on the trunk. We got the wheels built. We got the brake lines put in. We got the makings of the fuel system put in. That means we're back on the road with the Mark II. So that means in the next few videos, we're gonna do everything we can to get this car running, driving, and on the road. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the usual. And we'll see you in the next video.